Hey guys, what's up? Rob Mods here. I wanted to bring you a little bit more gameplay tonight and have some things I want to talk about. Some I've noticed by watching some other people's gameplay, whether it be streams or YouTube videos or just different people asking questions, is I feel like there's just some questions regarding how to use energy well. I've talked about before how to make money and discounting things and surcharging things and how to small talk and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's some other uses for energy that really get missed or are used incorrectly. And I don't know, I've sold how many items? Let's see. 304,000 items. So I really hope by this point I have a good idea of how to sell items efficiently and what the best use of energy is. So I want to talk about two different things right now. First thing is suggesting other items. So often I'll see people who have got a shop, and there's of course their fodder items, their lower level items that they're planning on discounting, and then there's a few of their bigger items scattered about that they're hoping will come up at some point. And I remember as I was leveling up different points in time where, let's say I saw 10 different items up at my counter and they were all like high level enchanted items that I wanted to search out all of them, and I didn't have enough other items to discount to get them sold, and I just felt overwhelmed and didn't know how to deal with the situation well. And so of course when you have higher energy it looks a little bit different, I understand that, but also something that I think is really important to be utilized is suggesting. So if you look at an item, you can use the suggest on the top left over here, and I can hit suggest an item, and it comes up with all the items that are available to be suggested for that. So I don't have a ton because I've been selling for a couple hours and everything's almost empty, but pretty much every item will have other things that can be suggested. So let's say I'm really low on energy, I only have 130. I small talk, I get some extra energy, I can discount something. Even tier 1, like that only cost me 500 gold or something. And now let's say I don't have any bigger items that I want to surcharge. I can suggest different items, bigger items. So now when I look at it, I've got 5 bigger items that I want to sell, 6 bigger items that I want to sell surcharged, and less of the other kind. And so for people I see sometimes sit there and they small talk and they might like surcharge this and sell it or something, and then they go over here and surcharge this and they can sell that, and then they get over here for this guy and it doesn't work, so they buy that, and then they get over here and that doesn't work. And so it's just like, okay, so now what do? Do I try to small talk something else? Oh shoot, that didn't work. And then go over here and small talk this, and oh okay, so that worked. And it just kind of seems really random and haphazard. Of course it looks fine for me because I've got enough energy that anything looks good. But if you don't have 700 energy coming in every time you small talk, using your energy better than just randomly choosing whatever, it's gonna make sure that you make a lot more money. Like I'll see somebody with 12 items at their counter, none of them are surchargeable, like none of them are a high level item, and they don't even suggest that higher level item and figure out how to get to that amount to surcharge it to get ahead. Like I remember months and months ago when I was just crafting constantly, and sometimes I didn't have enough energy to be efficient enough to sell all of those items, so I was feeling overwhelmed, like I've got 400 items or something to sell, but I don't have the time to actually get through that inventory, and trying to figure out, okay, so if I like take off all these low level bows and I put in high level bows instead, and then what's my balance? Okay, so I take out these fodder items and then I put in more high level items, and then do I take off these and then I put in high level of those, and trying to like get my balance right between high level items and fodder items, and what do I do, and trying to figure out what that looks like, how to balance properly, how to not get overwhelmed. But I see some people, like they just have the energy for it. They see this bow, nothing else is coming up in terms of bigger items that are enchanted that they want to surcharge, so they'll just hit surcharge on a $30,000 item that this thing on the market right now is over 60k. No joke. If you look at this thing on the market right now, it's 60k. So you're wasting a customer, you're wasting energy, you're wasting time, you're wasting money, and you're actually not getting yourself ahead at all. So you might play for hours and hours. You're not even making any money because you're just sitting there patiently waiting for one of your bigger items to come up to surcharge. It's so much slower. It's inefficient. You're not making as much money. And you could just get rid of this one small item to get enough so that you can suggest and get the right balance that works for you, that makes sense. So I would say don't sit here and just wait for those 3 expensive items to come up and just hope for the best, because it's not going to be what's best for you. But do it well, do it calculated, make more money, and you'll be able to get ahead faster and enjoy the game a whole lot more. The second thing I want to talk about is rushing crafts. So obviously here almost all of my resources are full, so I could craft 4 items, but I only have 1 craft that's done. And so I have kind of a decision to make of what I'm going to do. I know, like, when I start crafting for the day and I've just logged on and I have enough resources to craft a whole nother round of, whatever 4 items that I'm using, sometimes it costs me 500 or 600 energy to rush, let's say, one of these ones at the end. 600 energy. And so it's like, okay, do I spend the 600 energy or do I not? How expensive was it to get that energy? And I remember, especially at lower levels, I would calculate like, okay, this cost me this item to sell to get up to my 600 energy or whatever energy that you need, 300 energy. And figuring out, okay, these stompers, when I finish this craft, how much money am I making? If this costs me 300k for components and the item is worth 600k, let's say, or 700k, then I'm making a good profit. I'm making 300,000 or 400,000. So if I'm spending an item even that cost me 50k on this, speeding that up and finishing it right away absolutely makes sense. But if I'm speeding up an item and it's costing me more to speed it up than what I'm making, then obviously it doesn't make sense. But speeding up items is going to make your profit much faster. It's going to make you more efficient. You're going to be able to get through things much quicker. I mean, honestly, you should be able to be using all of your resources constantly in order for you to make maximum amount of money. You should be suggesting items and selling items after you've already sped up enough items to be using all of your resources, in my opinion, because almost always crafting is going to be more profitable than selling. Almost like across the board, it's going to be more profitable. So for me, a lot of the time, I'm spending 500 or 600 energy just to speed these up enough. Like when I have enough bins out, I'm spending, this 790 energy to get that boot done so that I can craft the next item whenever it's ready. Obviously, this is a little bit messy and it looks different than what it normally does for me, but speeding up crafts is really important. And if that means for you that you have, let's say, something like this, like a tier 1 item worth basically nothing, that you are able to discount your tier 1s regularly and just use the small talk and the sell energy to rush your crafts, it's going to be cheap, inexpensive, and you're going to be able to use your resources all the time, continuously be crafting, being able to make more money. Like, I would say honestly, both for mastering your items, getting through resources quickly, making more, leveling up quicker, all of that kind of stuff, it makes a lot more sense for you to be crafting constantly to the most efficiency that you can using all of your resources. And if that means that you're selling a little bit less, that's fine. If that means that some of your items are being sold on the market for less than double, that's fine. You're not going for net worth at a lower level. It doesn't really matter. You're going for profit, you're going for speed, you're going for mastering, you're going for leveling your shop up so that you're prepared for the higher tiers. And so I hope that makes sense. Don't just sit around and wait for the right items to come up. Use your energy wisely. Get the items out that you want to sell. If you've only got 3 items left in your shop, like for me, for example, you can see I'm almost out of bigger items that I want to surcharge. Like pretty much all of my stuff is empty because I've been selling for a couple hours. So for me, I'm going to go back to the market, buy 200 more items right now, enchant them, and get them on my shelves ready to go, and not just sit here waiting for customers, hopefully, to pick out the last few remaining bigger items for me to eventually surcharge. I'm going to do it efficiently. I'm going to try to do it quickly. I'm going to have my fodder items not available so that my bigger ones are ready, and hopefully that'll allow me to sell items quicker and obviously get ahead better. So I hope that makes sense. It's just something that I've noticed and I wanted to talk about and hopefully encourage you to increase your play in that way. So anyway, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions or ideas for videos or anything like that, please comment or reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and have a great night. I appreciate it.